When we see the ambassador's Mercedes, we roll.
The surprisingly affordable Granada, sometimes mistaken for a Mercedes.
There he is. Roll.
Albert, are you speeding?
No, dear.
People in Washington sure are friendly.
I think they like our new Granada.
Are you sure this is the way to the Applebound's new house?
I hope so.
Oh, look, Albert. They bought a Colonial.
The 1980 Ford Granada, a modern American classic.
Now you can shop for phone styles the way you shop for other styles, which makes sense, really, when you consider how many different styles and colors of phones there are today, and how the phone has become a decorating accessory. You just go to any one of our Phone Mart stores, pick out the phones you want, then simply take them home and plug them in.
G.
No, GTE.
12 minutes, 29 seconds left to play. Look at Baylor, number 47.
That's jumping. He sure got up in the air, didn't he? He didn't step on anyone's back to get up there.
Pat Summerall with John Madden. And the Vikings, after blocking that field goal attempt by O'Donoghue, have it 1st and 10 at their own 20. Ted Brown is the lone setback. He carries it. Got about 6.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting into playoffs, and I think that these types of games are good for them to get them ready, because it looks like they're going to be there. And I think when you have to play a tight game against a team that's doing well, it's the best way to prepare. As we look at their record, they're 9-3. The closest is Chicago 7-6, and they'll be there. And the more of these types of games they have, the better for them.
The Bears will play Tampa next week. It'll be 2nd and 4 as Kramer got back. The touchdown is good, and Kramer scrambles out of there. Gets down at the 30, near a 1st down. Wally Chambers chased him. Wally lost his helmet in the process. Dewey Selman also on the tackle. Back a few years ago, the backfield at Eufaula, Oklahoma, had Dewey Selman, Leroy Selman, and Lucius Selman, all in the same backfield.
How'd you like to be a high school player playing defense? Some little 150-pound defensive back that had to tackle any one of those.
Wow, that must have been something. Kramer gives straight ahead to Ricky Young, who breaks a couple of tackles. And Ricky Young out near another Minnesota 1st down. Out close to the 40.
This is the thing, you know, that the Vikings are doing. They want to be able to, you know, take some time off that clock. But to be able to do that, you have to get 1st downs, which they're doing now. There was just a little crack in there for Ricky Young to get through, and he got through it and picked up another 1st down.
Bud Grant says if you had 22 Ricky Youngs, you'd never lose a game.
He said that last week after they beat the Detroit Lions.
Kramer outside, intended for Steve Roy here. By the left cornerback, Jarris White. You talked about that Tampa secondary being a bunch of hitters. Watch this one.
They are. They all play like linebackers, and they cover, and they got on this thing right now. That was a head snapper, wasn't it?
Might be a little bit shorter than he was before that play.
That happens to many of them.
Rashad comes split out wide to the right on 2nd and 10. McClanahan now in the backfield, and that's Brent. Wrapped up by Cecil Johnson and slung around. Now they'll have to throw.
This will be an interesting call here to see if Bud Grant does go with the 3 wide receivers, throw it, or if he decides to run and punt it and let the defense play, who have been playing very well. This is something that Bud, I'm sure, is thinking about now.
A touchdown by New England as they've taken the lead now of Buffalo with a 1-yard run by Steve Grogan. And the Patriots lead 10-6. Kramer with good protection. Throws into the hands of Robert Miller, but he couldn't find the handle. Mike Washington on the coverage for Tampa. And Coleman comes in.
That was one thing I'm sure that they didn't want to do. They went to a formation where they had 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and I'm sure that Tommy Kramer wanted to get all his receivers up at least 6 or 7 yards, so if he did get a completion, it would be a first down.
Annie Reese back for the Bucks. Coleman's end-over-end kick is high, and Reese again does not fair catch it. And Terry LeCount is the first man down.
There's Matt Blair again. I think they were getting that close to me. I think I'd have a few more fair catches. Last week was the first one he had this year.
I'm a mileage nut. I checked all the figures, and I got a Ford Fairmont. Yeah, 4-cylinder mileage is even higher than last year's. And do they have a 6-cylinder? With standard 4-speed transmission, no 6, foreign or domestic, beats Fairmont's estimated MPG. Datsun's 4-speed doesn't beat it. Toyota doesn't beat it. Citation, the GMX cars don't beat it.
Harold!
Aren't you glad you bought a Fairmont?
You bet your gas can.
The right idea for today.
Because the wine remembers, we use only rare European oak to gentle and mature our Chardonnay wine. Here at the winery of Ernest and Giulio Gallo, we're cradling our Chardonnay in these handmade casks until the day the winemaker judges it ready for release. Every step we take with care, because the wine remembers.
Next Saturday, the CBS Sports Spectacular features highlights of the exciting LA Times 500 and highlights of the 9-ball pool championship. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
That's the situation. 9 minutes, 18 seconds left to play. Vikings leading 23-16. Pass almost intercepted by Scott Studwell. Very, very close, intended for Ricky Bell. And you could almost hear a massive sigh of relief come from this crowd.
You could hear Studwell slap his helmet after he dropped it, because not only did he almost have an interception, but he was thinking touchdown. He had the end zone on that play.
Ricky Bell did a good job to stop a touchdown right there.
The Minnesota Vikings were playing a 3-man line on that last defense. Now they're back in their 4-man line.
Williams has his receiver, Isaac Higgins, and it's good. Bobby Bryant, one of the tacklers for Minnesota. Kurt Knopf was the other.
You see, he has a little half roll there and drills him out just enough for a first down to Higgins. That's what we're talking about in Minnesota's 3rd down. That anytime you're going to throw the ball on 2nd or especially 3rd down, you want all the receivers up beyond the point where it'll be first down.
Randy Holloway is number 75 for the Minnesota defense. Ricky Bell cuts back inside him. Holloway has taken the place of Jim Marshall on the defensive line. Mark Mullaney ran him down, number 77.
Holloway has taken the place of Marshall, and Scott Studwell has taken the place of Jeff Seaman as the middle linebacker.
Here comes Seaman. And Duck White goes out. So does Dave Roller. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Studwell stays in, so that means they'll go to the 3-man line.
Steve Niehaus is in also. And Williams sends everybody downfield, including himself. Doug Williams gets down at about the 35. Matt Blair made sure.
There's a penalty on that, and of course it's in that area where they usually call, oh, I guess it's not a penalty.
I think that's the towel, the orange towel.
The orange towel.
That the center keeps tucked in his belt.
That's what it is. Doug Williams is doing more of this now, they tell me, that, and the coaches have asked him to do more of it, and instead of taking some losses or sometimes throwing the ball away, to run with it and get back something that you may have lost.
He's a big, strong guy on 3rd and 1. There's Ricky Bell. There's one of his running backs. And Eckwood is the other. This is Eckwood. Oh, this is Bell. I'm sorry. And Bell stays on his feet, still on his feet. Stepped out of bounds finally. Knocked out by Tommy Hannon. Bell operating from the halfback spot.
That was something. There was a short yardage play. The Minnesota Vikings were in the short yardage defense. Tampa Bay was in their short yardage offense. They had the 2 tight ends in there, and they pinched. They were trying to shut off everything to the inside. Ricky Bell was able to get to the outside with a good block by his lead blocker, Greg Roberts.
As Roberts, who stayed on his feet and stayed out in front of him, number 61.
He sure did. He's a good rookie. I know the coaches are very happy with his play. When you get a guy that's that big and can run like that, you have something going for you.
I believe Matt Blair might be a little bit shaken up for Minnesota. A very, very warm day. Temperature up in the 80 degrees.
With that 37-yard run, Ricky Bell is now over 1,000 yards for this season.
What do computers do for you? Look, your driver's license. In most states, computers help renew it automatically. 24-hour banking, health insurance. Computers mean better service in many areas. Game or show tickets, now you can get them with the help of computers. Fact is, many conveniences today come to you with the help of computers. The reason? Technological innovations have been steadily reducing the cost of using computers. This IBM 4331 computer, for example, uses 70% less energy than previous IBM computers of similar capacity and sells for less than half the price. Inflation may be driving other prices up, but at IBM, innovation is driving them down, so more people can use IBM computers to do more for you. IBM, helping put information to work for people.
That tells you the story of the year that Ricky Bell has had. Much to the delight of this 70,000-plus crowd, who are not delighted with the scoreboard at the moment. 23-16 Vikings. That's Johnny Davis to the 25. Darrell Luce.
The Bucs really look like a different team this second half offensively, and I think the big thing is that they're getting some yardage running the ball, where in the first half they weren't able to do it.
It'll be 2nd and 7. .15 left on the scoreboard clock. And that's Bell again. Inside the 20. Red McNeil tripped him up. Bell is close to a first down. Not quite.
I think we're probably seeing as many situation substitutions as I've seen in a long time. In this play here, we see it's just a man blocking and a straight handoff to Ricky Bell. But the Buccaneers were in their pass offense. They had their 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers in, and Ricky Bell was the only back in the backfield. Now they're having trouble with this formation, and Doug Williams is going to take a timeout. That may be one of the problems you have with that, going from one formation to another and one player to another, but it's worked very well for both teams.
So the Buccaneers have to use one of their timeouts. They'll have 2 left as you come down to the climactic last few minutes. 5:37 left to play.
How many times have you wanted to pack it all in and take off? Well, with Hertz economy fares, the time to go is now. Our subcompacts are only $14.95 a day, weekends, and just $98 a week. All with free mileage. Larger cars are only dollars more a day. And if you rent for 3 weekdays or more, Hertz has special economy fares for that, too. Hertz Economy Fares. Now you can't afford not to rent from number one.
Kids everywhere can enjoy the thrill of auto racing with these new radio-controlled cars from Radio Shack. On the track, obstacle course, or off the road, you control all the action with a radio transmitter. Detailed replicas of actual vehicles. There's even a tank. 10 different models priced from $11.95 to $49.95. Excitement for kids and grown-ups, too. The gift-priced radio-controlled toys only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
On the Tuesday night movie, narcotics officers tragically invade the wrong house. An innocent man is the victim of a massive police cover-up on High Midnight, Tuesday.
23-16, Minnesota leads Tampa Bay. With a victory, the Buccaneers would enter the playoffs. Ricky Bell, Johnny Davis, the running backs, double tight end set up. It's Bell. Trying for the first down, and looks like he got it.
That was a reason that Doug Williams took time out, is he didn't have his short yardage offense in. He had the same formation before. He had the 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and he wanted to get the short yardage in. As we see here, again, it's a lead man type play with Bell going in. It's going to be very close.
Didn't get it.
It's very close.
It is very close.
I think this time you have to go for it here, not because of the time so much, but you don't know how many more shots you're going to get at that 4th and inches in this football game today. Not expect a quarterback sneak again by Doug Williams. Towards the uncovered man.
Out of the huddle quickly. 4th and inches. A big play coming up. It is another quarterback sneak, and he does have it. Behind that big center. Steve Wilson. First down, Tampa Bay.
That's the advantage of having a big young quarterback. Sometimes when you get in these situations where you just need a few inches, that's a pretty solid play that, unless you just don't stop any penetration, you really can't go for a loss, and you should be able to pick it up. I never did that with Ken Stabler or George Blanda.
Seems to me I remember the snake rolling out a couple of times.
Because he was chased.
First down on the 17. Bell gets the carry and is pinned down behind the line of scrimmage by Fred McNeil.
I tell you, that's the second great play that Fred McNeil has made on the sweep to his side. And we'll see what causes it. See, they didn't let him get around the corner. Watch McNeil get up the field. And again, we see that he doesn't let Ricky Bell turn or square his shoulders.
The interesting observation you had about why he is better standing up than he is when he's down in a 3-point stance.
Well, when he stands up, he can see the defense. As we see him, well, he's in a stance now, but he has to have his head down, and he can't see the defense.
And Williams with good protection, throwing deep, and he has the receiver open. Intended for Larry Mucker, covered by Hannon. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 13. I was talking to the owner of the Buccaneers, who, by the way, is a very fine gentleman, Hugh Culverhouse, before the game, and I asked him if they had any sort of celebration plan for tonight, and he said, nope, no way. We lost 26 straight, and if you can lose 26, you can certainly lose 4.
Hugh Culverhouse is a fine man.
He really is.
Joy. They had a lot of patience, and it's paying off for him.
She's quite a golfer, his wife. And coming for Giles over his head. And now what do you do? Now do you go with O'Donoghue?
I wouldn't think so. I would think in this situation that they take another shot of it. They need 7 points to tie, and I think that they'll probably go for it on 4th down. He really had Giles on that play. He just had to throw it a little high. I think he was pressured right at the end, and it caused the ball to take off on him.
Clock stopped with 3:47 left to play. 23-16 Minnesota. And they are going for it. No O'Donohue. Davis and Bell both in the backfield. Williams goes intended for one of his running backs. He couldn't get it. Couldn't quite reach him as Mark Mullaney put on the pressure. Tried to get it out to Johnny Davis.
It wasn't I'm very impressed today with the job that this Viking defense is doing. We talked about earlier about the job that they were doing in the run, but they're also now rushing the passer and covering very well.
And they'll get the football with 3:40 left in the contest.
Motorcraft battery, it's all right. Saved my life one dreadful night when I told Big Dutch I want to fight. He said, how about now? He broke a table, over a chair. I went from a coupe to go anywhere. My lights had been on while I was there. Motorcraft, don't fail me now. I turned the keys, it came through the door. My Motorcraft made the engine roar. Then I heard Big Dutch as he stamped and swore. Gonna get me a Motorcraft battery for sure. Motorcraft, for sure.
Here's to good friends.
A toast. Here's to a vanishing breed. Bill Evans, bachelor.
The end of a perfectly good ladies' man.
To Bill Evans, a free man. 13 more hours.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Low and Brow.
Speech. Come on, you guys. You're beautiful.
3 minutes, 40 seconds left to play. 23-16 Minnesota. Ricky Young and Robert Miller will be the running backs behind Tommy Kramer. Kramer not trying to save anything. Throws intended for LeCount. Got his feet tangled up with a defending back, Mike Washington. 34-21 Cincinnati over St. Louis now. 30-27 in that Cleveland-Pittsburgh game with 4 minutes and 42 seconds left to play. Cleveland leads by 3. Franco Harris just scored a touchdown for the Steelers. There it is.
I thought that one would get tight.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Tommy Kramer was going for the whole thing on that play.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Ted Brown is the one back behind, and he gets the ball. Brown trying to get outside, has no place to go as Jarvis White leads the defensive charge, helped by David Lewis.
And Tampa Bay is trying to take a timeout for some reason now. It's interesting, you know, that they had to use the timeout. That could be a determining factor in this game, that first timeout that the Buccaneers used.
Speaking of determining factors, John, the Giants have beaten the Redskins 14-6. And that knocks him out of a first-place tie with Philadelphia in the NFC East.
Those Giants bounced back from last week, losing to this Tampa Bay team by a pretty good score. Here's Bud Grant. They're talking it over about what they have to do. Now, Tampa Bay only has one timeout left. Of course, they'll get the 2-minute warning. And I was a little surprised that they took the timeout this early because they had already used one.
When one of America's best-known black leaders is accused of lining his own pockets with civil rights money and of trying to kill people who get in his way, that's a story for 60 Minutes. Watch it this evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Philadelphia, by the way, plays at Green Bay today. A game that started, I should say, an hour later than this one. 3rd and 10. Kramer with lots of protection finds Ricky Young, and Ricky Young finds a little bit of daylight, but not enough for the Vikings to keep possession as David Lewis wraps him down, and Coleman will have to return.
We're going to see Lewis here. Here's a top player for the Buccaneers, David Lewis. He's a big, strong linebacker, and in the future, he's going to be an all-pro player. Very impressive. Greg Coleman punting here. His last punt was for 40 yards, but the one before that was only for 8 yards.
Let's see if the Buccaneers try to put some pressure on Coleman. Not really. Good kick. Danny Reese lets it bounce, and it bounces away from him. He doesn't have the option of fair catching. Harry LeCount is the first Viking down there. 2 minutes, 23 seconds left to play. The Buccaneers will have the ball, but about 75 yards away from a touchdown. Next week, don't forget, Chicago, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Philadelphia, Green Bay, Washington, San Francisco, St. Louis. And Atlanta, San Diego, Minnesota, Los Angeles, and the Giants, who upset Washington today, go to Dallas.
That'll be a game. That's where you're going to be next week?
Right.
Yeah.
John McKay underneath the hat and behind the glasses. Got to be a little bit concerned. Williams throws, has it complete. I believe it's Ricky Bell out of the backfield.
I think the one thing they have to remember in this situation is they still have 2 minutes and 10 seconds. They really have 2 timeouts, one at the 2-minute, one more timeout, and that's plenty of time. They don't have to rush or hurry anything or do anything that would backfire on them if they take the 2-minute timeout.
And both John McKay and Bud Grant will get that notification that there are 2 minutes officially left to play. 23-16.
Remember the toys that meant the most to you when you were a kid? The ones that lasted beyond the fads and gave you hours of enjoyment? Right now, your Napa Auto Parts store is offering this durable pickup truck. Steel construction, hemmed edges, Napa quality for $5.95. Or you can pick up this replica of Napa's famous Big Rig for $12.95. Either one can help you make someone very special very happy. They're available now at your Napa Auto Parts store. 2 gifts that will bring joy for seasons to come.
One thing I'll never compromise on, my tools. I go for the best, like this, or these. Yeah, Levi's blue jeans are tools. They fit your body like a good hammer fits your hand, nice and comfortable. And this Levi's denim is as tough as nails, a real value for the buck. Tell you, I wouldn't wear anything less than Levi's blue jeans, but then I don't skimp on tools.
Very few people have departed Tampa Stadium. Buccaneers down to just 1 timeout left. Minnesota has 2. Minnesota a touchdown ahead.
1 minute, 59 seconds and 1 timeout. I think maybe taking those 2 timeouts before the 2-minute warning could very well come back to haunt the Buccaneers in this game.
That factor and the lack of success in their kicking game certainly have contributed to the fact that they're down 23-16. But you got to give the Vikings credit. Williams has it outside. Here's wide receiver Isaac Hagan. He tried to break away from Bobby Bryant, but couldn't. But a first down will move those sticks.
Again, they're in that same passing formation of 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, and they'll go this play without a huddle.
Quickly to the other side to Mucker. John Turner, the defender, but the pass was complete.
And that one stopped the clock, and now we can see Doug Williams motioning to the sideline, and we'll get a play in and maybe another formation. Minnesota's a little loose on this thing. You know, people always talk about the prevent defense, and they play strong defense all day, go to the prevent, and what is it? Prevent, but what you really hope in this situation is to keep everyone in bounds.
Clock is stopped with 1:34 left. Line of scrimmage, the 47 of Minnesota. Williams drops straight back. Now has to come out of it. Gets a couple of good blocks, and he swoops down out of bounds at about the 35. Another Buccaneer first down.
It was a big play, and Doug Williams saw it. The minute he starts to scramble, he turns outside, and he sees it. He points to his blocker, get that one, and I'll get the first down and get it out of bounds. Watch him here. He starts to the outside, and I watch him with his left arm. He points. There's one guy there in my way. That's it. someone block him, and I'll get a first down and get out of bounds.
That was Charlie Hanna that came back and blocked Jim Marshall. First and 10 at the Minnesota 35. Two tight ends, two wide receivers again. Pass is thrown for Larry Mucker and thrown behind him.
Doug Williams tried to get a hook in there on that one, an inside move. That's one of the problems when you're trying to get the ball out of bounds is really you can't throw too many outside patterns, and that's one thing that the prevent defense does prevent when they get a little loose, is to prevent someone getting outside and out of bounds, and then that makes you go to the inside, which Doug Williams did on that play.
1:21 left to play, one timeout left for the Buccaneers. Second down, 10 at the 35. Williams this time with good protection and room. He finds Obradovich. His tight end gets what he can and wisely gets out of bounds, knocked out by John Turner. It'll be down inside the 20.
That's the advantage of a quarterback who can move a little and scramble a little. Doug Williams really didn't have anyone open, but when he was able to move out to his left, Obradovich was able to react and move to it. He found him and got the first down because he threatened to run with it.
Larry Mucker splits wide to the right. Higgins comes out to the left. Vikings are blitzing their middle linebacker, but it's picked up, and the pass is out of the reach of Larry Mucker. Tim Baylor out there on the coverage.
Mucker really had Baylor beat on that play, as we're going to see here. He did have the outside. He turned Baylor. He had it. He was working back nice. And what caused that pass was he got a little pressure right at the end, and he wasn't able to step into it. And I think that caused the ball to rise on him.
And so now the clock is stopped with 1:07 left to play. 23-16. Minnesota lead. Second down from the 20. Screen set up to Bell. A room for Ricky Bell, who falls down at about the 12-yard line. Jeff Seaman made sure he stayed. A screen pass that looked like it might get more than that. And the Bucs might be about to take their last timeout. Yes, sir.
That's their last timeout. That was a good call, and they could have had even a bigger play than they got on that. He was out there, and he had two men out in front of him, as we're going to see here, and it looked like they ran right by, and they caused penetration, which made Ricky Bell have to make a move, and he slipped making the move.
No more timeouts. Third down, 1 to go at the Minnesota 11. Bell.
We were talking about that could come back to haunt him, and here's a situation where it would. In this situation with short yardage down here, they're third and short. They would really like to run the ball, get the first down, so they have 4 shots at the touchdown. Now, I don't know if they'll be able to run the ball, get the first down, and then still be able to get the ball out of bounds, which is really the decision that they're talking about on the sideline, that they can call 2 plays, one a run, get the first down, line up on the line of scrimmage, throw it out of bounds, and have 3 downs.
Clock stopped with 54 seconds left to play, and the Buccaneers would hope to clinch the NFC Division title today and clinch a playoff spot, trail by a touchdown. Minnesota leads 23-16. Here's the running play, and they're trying to get the first down. They do it, but the clock still goes.
Now they're going to have to line up on the line of scrimmage, and again, he called 2 plays in the huddle, and I'm sure this will be a passing play, and he'll either throw it in the end zone or towards the sideline.
Touchdown. Morris Owens on a strike, but there's a penalty marker down.
There's a penalty on the play. And where it's thrown, I would guess that it's going to be against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I bet it's for not being set or some illegal movement. And sometimes that'll happen to you when you don't have the huddle.
That is exactly what happened.
Tough break. Tough break for Tampa Bay and a big break for the Minnesota Vikings as we look at the play again. We knew that he'd have to throw the ball here again, either to the sideline or in the end zone, and they elected to throw it.
Number 81 offense. First down.
Well, that's a good throw.
That was a great throw. That's a great throw.
But all for naught. With 32 seconds now left to play, they'll bring it back to the 13-yard line. Clock is stopped. Crowd on its feet all the way around this bowl. Williams comes straight back. Looks. Throws out of the end zone. Incomplete. Number 85, Morris Owens, was perhaps the nearest receiver. It'll be second down. Clock stopped with 27 seconds to go.
Doug Williams was a little short on his drop that time. The play before that, the touchdown that was called back, he was closer to the goal line, and of course that would bring about a shorter drop. I think with the 5-yard penalty, maybe he should take another couple-step drop in this area of the field.
Still the two tight ends, Obradovic on the left and Giles on the right. Mucker and Hagan are the wide receivers. Williams under pressure, comes out of the pocket. Williams to the 5, Williams touchdown.
Big play for Doug Williams, and I'll tell you who made the big play, though, was right at the goal line. Ricky Bell made the block that allowed Doug Williams to get into the end zone. When we talk about players gaining 1,000 yards and being able to do this and that, when you see players like Ricky Bell coming off field and the play that he made here, those are the type of people that make those touchdowns happen in the last few seconds. This is the kind of foot. I love this.
Well, it'd be hard not to. Blanchard will hold. O'Donohue will attempt. Block. The Vikings block another one. And lead by 1. It's 23-22, Minnesota.
I tell you, I mentioned earlier that this is the way the old Minnesota Vikings used to play, and this is the best that I've seen them this year, and they're playing like they used to play, like the old Minnesota Vikings. Look at this. That's reckless abandon.
I believe it was Matt Blair who blocked it.
Well, McNeil has had one. They've had another one by Tim Baylor. And Matt Blair has been known to block a number of them.
Here's the touchdown run again by Doug Williams.
I think the thing we're going to see here, see, he goes back to pass, and there's really nothing there. So he gets to the outside. Now he has clear sailing. Again, he points to that one person. But Ricky Bell's the one that gets the last defender right there, so that Doug Williams can make the play into the end zone.
That was Hannon that knocked him up in the air and caused him to be concerned right now. The Vikings hang on to that lead by 1. They block a punt, 2 extra points, and a field goal.
Doug Williams on that touchdown run may have hurt his neck. I don't.
Landed on his head.
Yeah, I hope he's okay.
O'Donohue set to kick off. You know it's going to be an onside-er. Bob Tucker. You wouldn't want a more sure-handed guy to handle it. Wally Hilgenberg, I'm told now, is the man who blocked that extra point.
Wally Hilgenberg. He'll be happy. I saw him a couple weeks ago. He hasn't been playing much. He hasn't been doing an awful lot, and I'm sure that he's very happy to make a contribution to a victory today for the Minnesota Vikings.
Vikings have the ball. They'll just let it run out. The Buccaneers have no timeouts left. Vikings will win it 23-22. Tommy Kramer just covers up. There's Wally.
There's Wally. He's happy. He's a fine guy. We played against him for years, and I had an opportunity to spend some time with him years ago in the Super Teams thing, and had a lot of respect for him as a player, and he's a fine man. We had a great game today.
I'll say. The Minnesota Vikings. 3 touchdown passes by Tommy Kramer. A field goal by Dan Meyer that hit the crossbar and went in good.
Wednesday, in a special appearance, Brett Maverick introduces his cousin, a ramblin', gamblin' ladies' man, Young Maverick, premiering Wednesday at 8, 7 Central.
Mavericks always stick together.
This is CBS.
I'm Bobby Bowden, and if you want to stay #1, you can't play a defensive game. Ford's been the #1 truck in Florida and South Georgia for almost 12 years, and for the 80s, they're ahead again. This Ford pickup gets the best gas mileage of any built in America. Now, I know great talent when I see it. Like Ford's new vans get the best mileage of all vans. Mileage, value, performance, and built Ford tough to stay ahead. Drive one now at your 140 Ford dealers in Florida and South Georgia.
Welcome to the friendly skies, Florida. We're bringing you more flights north than ever before.
Those magnificent flights in the friendly skies to whisk you away more often every day.
With new nonstops to Chicago and new nonstops to Denver to give you more connections to more cities in the West than anyone. And it's all for you.
Fly the friendly skies. Call your travel agent.
WTVT, Tampa, St. Petersburg.
All right, back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger. Let's take you to the scoreboard and get you up to date on everything. And it has been a wild afternoon. Those of you who watched this one know just how wild. The Buccaneers miss a couple of extra points no longer. Is that conversion automatic? Now Tampa Bay will have to wait until next week for a shot at wrapping up the NFC Central. The Chicago Bears will be in Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. And for the Vikings, well, this year they are now 6-7. Meanwhile, New Orleans going to move ahead in the NFC West. Their record will be 7-6 after they polish off this victory. They have dominated Atlanta from the beginning to end of this game. St. Louis has rallied. It's 34-28, but it may be too little too late. Jim Hart has thrown a couple of long touchdown passes to Pat Tilley in that game. Washington and the New York Giants, 14-6 is the final. The Giants now 6-7. The Redskins are 8-5. They are tied with the Cowboys, so the Eagles can be all alone atop the NFC East. Buffalo and New England, the Patriots lead at 13-6. The Patriots lost a fine offensive tackle, Wheeler, with a broken leg. He is the man who replaced Gray before the season started. And in a game that is now in overtime, Cleveland and Pittsburgh are tied at 30 in that game. The Browns won the flip. They elected to receive, and they now have a shot to move on down and beat the Steelers in overtime. And it has been a wild one. There's the Philadelphia score, 14-3. And if they win it, of course, they would have a record of 9-4 all alone atop the NFC East right now. And Los Angeles and San Francisco are just underway. In Candlestick, they are scoreless. Kansas City and San Diego just getting going. The Chargers with a 9-3 record this year. Miami and Baltimore, they are scoreless in the first right now. Oakland and Denver, likewise, they are scoreless also in the first period. And the NFL Today continues on CBS in just a moment.
From the people who brought you the workmate comes the incredible bench top. You can put it on a table or clamp it to a chair or use it on the roof or almost anywhere. It goes up in the attic or the basement down below. There's almost no place the bench top won't go. Black & Decker's bench top workmate, portable work center and vats. It turns the whole world into a workshop.
If you use your nasal spray again, and again, because congestion keeps coming back, get relief with Dristan Long-Lasting Mist. Adult Strong lasts the whole day long. Compare. Regular sprays last up to 4 hours. Dristan Long-Lasting lasts up to 10 hours. Once in the morning lasts while you work. Once at night lasts while you sleep. Adult Strong lasts the whole day long. Relieves congestion virtually all day or all night. Dristan Long-Lasting Nasal Mist.
Now, we've got a final score of 34-28. Cincinnati beats St. Louis. The Cardinals had a receiver wide open. He dropped the ball in the end zone. Buffalo has tied New England at 13. 11 seconds to go. Ferguson hit Lou Picone from 11 yards out. Time now for some highlights. Here's Doug Williams of the Buccaneers. What a courageous performance he turned in today. Hit Giles down on the 2-yard line. Ricky Bell then banged across, and O'Donohue missed his first important extra point. And Tommy Kramer rallying the Vikes in the second period. Looks like Fran Tarkenton in this sequence. Get some time. Wait, and LeCount gets open, and he's got it for 6, and the Vikes are coming back, trailing 9-7. What a receiver Ahmad Rashad is. Takes this pass from Kramer, and watch him bust the tackle right here and go on into the end zone. And it was 14-9 Minnesota. Johnny Davis following the lead block of Ricky Bell. Bell cut inside. Got a hold of a linebacker. Davis got to the outside, went in for the touchdown, 16 yards out. It was 17-16, Minnesota with the lead. Kramer on the day was 15 of 26 for 158 yards. The Vikes also blocked this punt right here. And from there, it was Kramer going to Ricky Young for the touchdown. The 49ers have scored on the Rams. They lead them 7-0. And then back came Doug Williams, scrambling in as time ran out. They trailed by a point. And what a lick Williams took going into the end zone. And here it is, the payoff. And the Vikes got in. Got a hand on the ball, and they win it by a point. Irv, I think you've got some highlights on that New Orleans, Donnybrook, with Atlanta.
Well, the Saints traveled to Atlanta to meet the Falcons. They're winning the game late in the fourth quarter by a score of 37-6. It rained all day, but it didn't affect Archie Manning very much because he put the ball in the air very effectively. In the first quarter, he goes up on top, and it's number 89, Wes Chandler, makes a spectacular catch, setting up a scoring opportunity for his offensive team. Mike Strawn going in from the 3. They won an early 7-0 lead. Chuck Muncie had a pretty good day running the ball, and on this next sequence of the plays, you'll see him go off his right end, 15 yards into the end zone. They take a 14-0 lead. In the third quarter, the Saints muffed a snap from center on a fourth down play. Partridge fumbles it, picks up the ball, and threw it to his outlet man, Bruce Williams. And Williams apparently rambles in for what the Saints thought was a touchdown. Unfortunately, it was called back because an illegal receiver is upfield. Saints get the ball once again in the fourth quarter. Manny again putting the ball in the air to number 85. Henry Childs. The play is good, 37-yard TD play. And in the fourth quarter, the Saints have a commanding lead, 37-6.
All right, Irv, we are going to be sending everybody back down to Pat and John. But first, Buffalo and New England, they're in overtime. They're tied at 13. The Browns couldn't cash in. Steelers have the ball back on the 4-yard line. And finally, the Washington Redskins lost a lot more than the game today. Their strong safety, Kenny Houston, suffered a broken arm and has been lost to the Redskins indefinitely. You're going to be going back to Pat and John Madden in Tampa Bay after this timeout.
Hello, I'm Chuck Connors, and this is Tin Can Alley. An exciting new electronic target game that truly tests your marksmanship from as far away as 25 feet. But Tin Can Alley is safe because it only shoots a beam of light that's as safe as a flashlight. Well, even a rifleman sometimes misses. Tin Can Alley, for real target practice at home from Ideal.
Is this any way to look for your next home? Discover the Gallery of Homes way. Gallery of Homes brokers feature this unique living room setting in offices across the country. It's the marketing system that saves you time, trouble, and concern. Gallery brokers are trained to help you find just the right home. And if you're selling, we'll picture your home in our gallery. Gallery of Homes, a proven method of marketing your home. Discover the Gallery of Homes difference for yourself.
Tommy Kramer, the fine young Minnesota quarterback, is down on the sideline. Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you.
Tom, when Tampa was scoring there at the end, or when they did score, were you getting ready for overtime, or were you hoping for that blocked extra point?
Oh, we were definitely getting ready for overtime, but you know, before they even scored, I was talking to Robert Steele, one of the guys on the team, and I said, well, even if they do score, it doesn't matter. We're going to block the extra point anyways, like we did the other one. And I tell you what, our extra point team and our field goal team blocked it today. They were just tremendous, and that's what won the game for us.
Tommy, it looked like you took a pretty good lick to the chin one time. You okay?
Yeah, I just got knocked a little silly for a second or two, and then my bottom of my gum went through my lip, but other than that, it's all right.
You sure did a fine job. 15 for 26, 158 yards, and the big thing is the 3 touchdowns, and that prophecy must run in the family. I met your mother yesterday, and she told me to watch you, that you were going to do it today and win the game.
Yeah, my mother, I gave my mother a ticket to the game, and it had game number 9 for the Bucks on it, and she said, well, there's no way that you can lose because you're number 9, and it's a night game, so it doesn't matter what they do, you will win.
Well, I don't think Bud Grant will hold the bus for you. You better get back in that locker room.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks very much, Tommy Kramer. Good day.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So, the Minnesota Vikings 23-22 over Tampa Bay. Broadcast produced by Bob Stinner, directed by Sandy Gross.
The NFL Today is sponsored by Radio Shack, the nationwide supermarket of sound, your electronic Christmas store. Ford and your Ford dealers, who bring you the better idea cars and trucks for the 80s. And by Lowenbrau, special and dark special, when it's time for the taste of a truly great American beer.
The NFL on CBS is a production of CBS Sports.